To start rigging, go up to Context Rig Asset, make sure that our character is selected and hit OK. You can start with an empty scene or the current scene. There are two different methods for rigging an asset. You can either import the model or have it referenced. To work with a reference model, you can start by going up to Rigging, Import Update Asset Model. This will bring in the most recent published model. It'll also set up the correct group structure and the NX asset set that the pipeline needs to read your rig correctly. To quickly create a simple rig, you can just go up to Rigging, Create Simple Transform Rig. Having the model reference is nice because all the updates come through automatically. However, if your rig has things like follicles which rely on UVs, or if it needs the vertex order to remain the same, such as with blend shapes, or if it has stuff riveted directly onto the geometry, these things can all break if the model changes too dramatically. So often it's a lot safer to work with an imported model. To do this, we'll start with a new scene and we'll bring in an OBJ of the model. This has the added benefit of not bringing through any render shaders or fur that the model might have. When the model is being published, there's a setting to also export an OBJ underneath the Tweak Settings menu. You can turn this on to have an OBJ automatically exported when the model is published. You should then be able to find an OBJ inside the model's published folder. In this case, it's inside the job folder under Assets, Character, Buddy, Publish, Model Asset, version 6. One thing to note is that it's important that both the model and the rig have matching names for their geometry. This is important so that the Alembic cache gets exported and reapplied correctly. So it's good to clean up any namespaces and make sure that it matches the model. To set up the groups and the NX asset set that the pipeline needs to be able to read your rig correctly, you can go up to Scripts, Job, Python Scripts, NX Groups, and this will create all that stuff for you. All the render geo goes into the geo folder. Any rig related geo like proxy meshes or ribbons should be kept inside the rig folder. When you're happy with your rig, you can publish it to make it available for animators to use. To do this, go up to the Publish menu. There's some settings you can tweak here, and you can also choose where to publish it. You can check out the main pipeline page for more info on publishing. One nice thing about working with a reference model is that it gets updated automatically. But if we're working with an imported model and we need to update it, there are a few extra steps we'll need to take. You can check the NX asset set to see what version of the model your rig is using. Here the rig is using version 3. If we go up to the version asset graph, we can see that the latest model is version 5. To update, we'll go grab the version 5 OBJ from the server. There are a couple tools in the menu that can help with transferring over skin weights. If you select the skinned mesh, you can then go up to M-Gear, Skin and Weights, select Skin Deformers, and that'll select all the joints related to that skin cluster. Add the new geo to the selection and then bind to selected joints. And then you can copy the skin weights over. After connecting the new mesh to anything else that needs to be hooked up to, there's one last thing we need to do, and that's updating the NX asset set to reflect that we have the latest model version in our rig. We can do that by unlocking and updating the version numbers manually.